common, most useful machines. So this is an example of a machine. Recalling your discussion about simple machines, in your general science, meron tayo usually dating pinag-usapan about mga ramps, yung lever. Okay, so those are mga simple machines na in the early times ay ginagamit. Even the principle behind it are very important. Kasama doon sa mga simple machines na yun, itong tinatawag natin ng wedge, which is yung application niya still being used. So saan ba natin ginagamit yung mga ganyang wedge? Nang una, as you can see on the figure, sa mga, an example of a wedge is yung ating axe. So of course, we know that we use axe to split woods. Imagine splitting woods requires enormous force. And with the use of this simple machine such as wedge, we can split even big lumbers. And we can do that, of course, with the application of columns dry friction. So we use wedge now to produce small adjustments in the position of a body or to apply large forces. Whenever we want to raise, say, heavy equipment, of course, with the modern technology, with the modern equipment, usually when we raise heavy equipment or heavy load, this nowadays we use, of course, lifting equipment such as crane. If we have small loads, then we can use forklift. Even motorized, or we can have a manual forklift. So which use the concept of hydraulic system. But without in the early times, without this present modern day tools and equipment, the wedge is a very important machine, used to raise heavy machineries, by inserting a particular by inserting this small device, in order to adjust or produce small adjustments. So when we are positioning, when we are positioning heavy loads, we can use small wedges, to produce small adjustment. So wedges largely depend on friction to function. See, usually these wedges are, kaya nga yan ay wedge, parang yan ay naka-inclined surface, as you can see on the drawing, wedges are used to shown to split tree trunks because the normal force exerted by a wedge on the wood are much larger than the force required to insert the wedge. Ibig sabihin, yung pag-insert ng wedge could be small force, then yung small force na yun parang nade-develop into a large normal force, which creates the force which split the wood. So when sliding of a wedge is impending, the resultant force on each side sliding surfaces of the wedge will be inclined to the normal to the surface by an amount equal to friction angle. The component of the resultant along the surface is the friction force, which is usually, of course, which is in the direction to oppose the motion of the wedge relative to the meeting surfaces. So how do we solve problems involving wedges? So let us take a look on this particular illustration. Consider a block A, a block A, which is a heavy block in this case, So the block rests against a vertical wall B. So as you can see, there are several points of contact or surfaces of contacts. the contact between the block A and the vertical wall. Of course, our surfaces being considered here are all rock surfaces. Will be, and we want to raise it slightly by forcing a wedge C between block A and the second wedge D. So we want to find the minimum value of the force P that must be applied to the wedge C to move the block. This in this case, actually the block A can be raised up or can be lowered down. No? Pwede natin siyang ibaba at pwedeng itaas using wedge. So we assume that we know the weight of the block, which is either given in pounds or determined in newtons from the mass of the block expressed in kilograms. So given the mass of the block A, again, either in pounds or in kilograms, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na mass na pounds, ano? I mean, in pounds, pound mass. Unit niya is pound mass, merong pound force. Pag pound force, yun yung weight. Sa SI naman, yung ating mass, minimultiply natin na acceleration to gravity to determine uh, the weight in Newton. So, again, our objective here in this particular illustration is to determine the value P, which is applied on the wedge, meaning we can only solve that value P by considering the free body diagram of the wedge. But the free body diagram of the wedge, no, as you can see here, ito yung FBD of the wedge. So, ito yung FBD ng wedge. Na yung ating commonly when we solve problems on wedges, this normal and frictional resistance usually is converted into its horizontal or yung kanyang single force, say in this case, say R2, ano? And the resultant R3, such that we will be solving commonly on wedges a body subjected through three forces or a three force body. No? Kasi commonly, yung weight ng wedge, no? Yung weight niya is neglected kasi nga siya is small device lang naman as compared to the applied force here or the weight of the block here that is very small. Kaya commonly, the weight of the wedge in a wedge problem is neglected. So that the wedge now will be subjected to only three forces. And to recall our axiom of mechanics for this special condition of equilibrium, that when a body is subjected to only three forces, these forces must be either concurrent or parallel. In this case, we'll be having a concurrent force systems. And when a body is subjected to only three forces, the most commonly method of analysis is by using the force triangle. Ano? So that is the quickest solution in wedge problem, ano? Rather than considering the components of the frictional resistance. Ano? Mas maraming forces ang kasama pagka i-consider mo yung components. Rather than we make use of the resultant force of each frictional resistance or frictional reaction. Now, papakita natin dito, kaya natin inilalagay yung ating mga components para makita natin ano ba yung magiging direction of the resultant force of the normal and frictional component. Kasi that is defined by the direction of the, kasi yung normal, lagi siyang normal lang, perpendicular to the supporting surface. What is critical here is the identification of the direction of the frictional resistance. Yung tamang identification ng frictional resistance, yun ang critical dito sa problem on wedges. because this, of course, frictional force is always acting opposite to the direction of the motion. At dito, dapat maintindihan natin yung tinatawag na relative motion. Kasi ang nag-move dito supposedly ay, ang ini-insert natin ay wedge. So that the corresponding motion of the supporting or the adjacent bodies must be relative, na? Kasi hindi naman dito directly A is itinataas natin, na? What I mean is nangyayari yung pagtaas at bababa ng block A due to the motion of the wedge. Kaya halimbawa in this case, no? Pagka yung wedge natin ay in-insert natin in between block A and block B, the point of contact of the wedge C at A ay dito. Yan yung point of contact na yan. At saka doon sa point B. No? Kaya dapat alam natin ano ang direction na nitong ilalim ng block A relative to the motion of the wedge. Kasi when we insert the wedge here, of course the wedge will be sliding to the right. By the way, all of the surfaces, when we deal about wedge problems, all surfaces are under impending motion. No? It is impossible that na mga mayroong surface na hindi impending motion, unlike before in our problem classification, no, that there are cases na meron tayo mga new surfaces, several surfaces, pero hindi lahat ay impending motion implied. Pero pag sa wedge ang pag-uusapan, lahat yan ay impending. Whether we have contact at this point or at this point, these are both under impending motion when we deal with wedge. Kasi, no, once ito ay kumilos yung ang tawag dito, once this wedge C is inserted to the right, the relative motion of A relative to C is going to, no? The relative motion of the block, no, to the motion of the wedge when it is going to the right is somehow going to the left, no? While the relative motion of the contact surface at the contact surface B, of course, when we insert the wedge C, the block will be raised, no? So if the block will be raised, meaning the motion of block A is going up, so that in this case, the frictional resistance will be going down. That's why we can see here, since the motion of A is going to the left, our motion of the frictional resistance will be opposite to that motion of A. Itong motion ng A going up. Itong motion ng A going to the right. So, opposite to this green direction, that will be the direction of the frictional resistance. And again, depending on this frictional resistance component, drawing natin ngayon dyan yung kanyang total reaction. Yung total reaction. Lagi siya dinodrawing with respect to the normal force. Yan. So ito yung say R1 and this is R2. Then this angle here, this is of course the angle P or angle, commonly this angle P1, or that is the angle of friction for between the normal component and the resultant force. Ito, angle P sub 2, depending on the coefficient of static friction. So as you can see, again, pagdating kasi dito, Resto na yun. Dito sa bilang ito. Yan dito. Pagdating kasi dyan, of course, we have here R2. No? And this is R3. Makita natin that there are three unknowns in this free body diagram. There are three unknowns. R1, R2, and yung required value of P. So, if this is second current for systems in equilibrium, of course, the maximum number of unknowns before we can solve these unknown reactions and force must be limited to 2. Therefore, since it is second current, kailangan dalawa lang ang unknown. And since dealing with the FBD of the Black Sea, there are three unknowns, kailangan masolve muna natin. Of course, definitely, doon tayo manggagaling yung ating solution ng R2 doon sa itaas na dito manggagaling yan. Kasi once na-solve mo dito ang R2, no, of course, di here R1, no? Kung na-solve mo dito, since dito ay tatlong forces siya, pero commonly yung W is given yan, no, as the weight or the mass of the block. Therefore, there are only two unknowns in this particular FBD, and therefore can be solved using conditions of equilibrium. No? And the solution usually is, of course, we draw the force triangle. Ano? Force triangle tayo dito. Sarang ganyan. Ano? Force triangle. Parang ganito magiging force triangle niyan. Yan. Yan. Force triangle. This is the weight. This is R2. And this is R1. So, when we able to form the force triangle, we can solve the sides of the triangle using sine law or cosine law. So, the only challenge here is to determine what are the corresponding interior angles inside the triangle, derived from the direction of R1 and R2 or R2 and R3 from the angle of friction. No? Kailangan makuha natin yung pag-drawing ng free body diagram. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin dito sa discussion na to. No? Na dito, kailangan masolve muna natin itong isang reaction na R2 na manggagaling niya as well. So, ibig sabihin ng ating solution for wedges, hindi direkta doon sa FBD ng wedge, kundi doon mo na mag-i-start yun sa FBD na may given weight. Then, after makuha mo yung R2, not necessarily kukunin mo pa yung R1, hindi mo naman kailangan yung R1. Ang target mo lang dyan is makuha yung R2, kasi yun ang gagamitin mo, ita-transfer mo dito sa FBD ng wedge. No? In the same manner, we were not after with the reaction R3. No? It's just enough that we reduce the number of unknowns in this FBD into 2, so that if R2 is already solved, P can be solved already, not necessarily solving for R3. Okay? Now, looking at the direction, paano ba makita natin yung direction ng ating reaction? Siyempre, when we apply force P on the wedge will be moving to the right. Ano? Kaya makita natin that the direction of the frictional resistance in each surface of contact is always opposite to that motion, no, impending motion of the wedge. And after, of course, knowing the direction of the frictional resistance, we can always convert this into either equivalent reaction, and drawing that with respect to the normal, we have here the angle P. Now, if take note, if the surface here, dito surface horizontal, so walang problema. Pero pagka ang surface natin naka-incline, so besides those, pag dinrawing natin yan, ito laging dinodrawing natin yung kanyang vertical component. So if this inclined say surface of the wedge is inclined an angle theta, that angle theta is the angle which the normal force makes with the vertical axis. No? So, halimbawa ito yung ating y-axis. Plus, ito naman yung ating angle P. In this case, angle P3 or yan. Ito naman angle P sub 2. Okay? So, pag nakuha mo na si R2 dito, edi solve na yung problem. Again, the challenge is always getting no, the angle, the resulting angle inside the triangle of the first triangle. Of course, if you draw the forces in concurrent naman, eh, nandun pa rin yung solution na two equation to unknowns. Nandun pa rin, possible pa rin yun. Pero again, the quickest solution for this type of problem, since it is involving only three forces, is the first triangle. Once you are facing a problem on concurrent force systems in equilibrium consisting of only three forces, the best solution is construct the first triangle. But again, you are not prohibited in using the convention, the usual simultaneous equation, no? Two equation to unknowns. Again, to avoid that simultaneous equation, because first triangle is equivalent to using two rotated axes. Kaya mas mabilis yung gamitin. Nga lang, if you are not comfortable with dealing with angles, that's the problem. Ano? Comfortable dealing with the resulting angle inside the triangle, that's the problem. But definitely, kahit yan ay concurrent force systems na iyong i-drawing, ang FBD, as concurrent force in equilibrium, ganun pa rin yun. Kailangan you have to understand the resulting angle of the resultant force with respect to the horizontal, usually with respect to the vertical axis. Ano? Now, to illustrate, ayan, yan ang pag-form ng force triangle, ha? Ganyan. At ang problema usually is ito, paano kuhanin yung mga forces inside the triangle. Dapat yan ay makuha natin if we want to use the force polygon. Kasi that will involve opposite side of the side. In this case, if you want it to be, of course, using sine law, no? Usually, sine law ang gagamitin mo dyan. Kasi, to solve for R2, you just write R2 over sine of this angle, sine of 90 plus P1 is equal to the given weight divided by the opposite angle niya, mahaba lang yun, which is 90 minus P1 plus P2. So sa manggagaling yan dito sa analysis ng angle in the intersection of the forces. Okay? Say, for a quicker, pwede mo sabihin, this is angle alpha, this is angle beta, and this is angle delta. Yan. So that itong ating R2 will be, by sine law, R2 will be over sine beta equals W over sine delta. Okay? So, again, medyo makakalito yung pagkuha ng angle beta at saka angle delta or the angle inside the triangle. But again, if you understand the geometry of the triangle in terms of the angles on each particular point, wala na mahirap kuhanin doon sa pagkuha ng angle. Now, to illustrate these problems involving wedges, So we have a problem here to position, the position of a machine block B is adjusted by moving the wedge A. Again, this is a problem on lifting a heavy load, using a simple machine such as a wedge. So knowing that the coefficient of static friction between 0.35 between all surfaces of contact, determine the force required to raise the block B, and for letter B to lower the block B. So there are two possible activity that we can accomplish here by using wedge. If you insert the wedge, of course, inserting the wedge between under block B, will raise, will raise the block. While for part B, if you want to lower the block B, what you have to do is to remove the wedge. Okay? So, dalawang case yan. Raise the block and lower the block. So, the strategy here is, so for both parts of the problem, normal forces and frictional forces act between the wedge and the block. On part A, no, you have also normal and friction forces at the left of the block. So as you can see here, mayayari yung pag-raise at pag-lower ng block. No? Kasi yung ating slot guiding the raising and the lowering of the block B is meron siyang gap, merong gap dyan. Otherwise, kung walang gap yan at siya isaktuhan lang, sabihin kung there will be point of contact here at point of contact here simultaneously, hindi natin siya may taangat. Therefore, when we insert the wedge A under block B, it will lose contact at this point. So that the point of contact only is ito lang, point na yan, at saka yung point, of course, under wedge A and the point of contact between block B and wedge A. No? So dun lang magkakaroon ng frictional resistance. There will be no contact here. Otherwise, we cannot solve the problem. That is when we are to raise block B. Okay? Now, again, the concept here is to correctly draw the free body diagram. So, una, our problem is for part A, our solution or analysis for letter A is to raise. When you want to raise the block. So, when we raise the block, of course, ang hinahanap natin ay what is the force? What is the force? So, para makita natin, siyempre, dapat talaga maintindihan mo. Dito ka mag-i-start sa pag-FBD ng dapat dito talaga mag-i-start sa pag-FBD ng wedge kasi doon mo isosolve yung problem mo. No? Dito manggagaling yan Yan. So, nandito yung ating force P. Yan ang hinahanap natin. Force P. Okay, so when we insert force P, when insert force P on wedge A, take note this is wedge A. Of course, the motion of wedge A will be to the left. So, to the left. So, if we draw the free body diagram, of course, using the normal force here, kailangan natin makita kasi yung direction of the frictional resistance para maintindihan natin. So, yung frictional resistance dito, of course, pupunta dyan. Kaya pagka dinrawing natin yung kanya magiging magiging reaction ganyan. Yun yung kanya single force. Yan, So, halimbawa, ito sabihin natin na R3. Okay? So, dito naman, nandito yung kanyang, sabihin natin na ito kanyang, again, normal force here. Again, ang mga normal force is perpendicular to the supporting surface. Ngayon, paano ba mag-move? Again, the wedge will be moving to the right. Na? Will be moving to the right. Therefore, ang kanyang frictional resistance again will be opposite to that direction. Punta naman dito yan. Yan ang kanyang direction. No? Ngayon, take note, naka-incline ito. Naka-incline itong, naka-incline ito ng how much? 8 degrees ba? 8 degrees. Naka-incline ng 8 degrees. Yan, nakalagay pala naman dito. Naka-incline siya ng 8 degrees. Ito, naka-incline siya 8 degrees. 8 degrees. So, dito, pagka naka-incline, lagi yung i-drawing yung kanyang vertical line. Yan. Kasi, yung ating resultant, no? Dito, ano mo siya drawing kapag ganyan, no? Baan natin yung normal force. Yan. Say itong ating yan ang ating say R1. R1. Again, we have to take note that given tayo ng coefficient of static friction here na 0.35 so that yung ating angle of friction given the coefficient of static friction equal to 0.35 no? So yung kasing ating no? At impending motion, of course, yung ating angle of friction is equal to the arc tangent of F over N. Yeah. Wherein F over N is, of course, equal yan sa coefficient of static friction. Therefore, yung ating P in also contact surfaces is equal to arc tangent of mu s, which is equal in this case is 0.35. That is equal to that value is equal to 19.3 degrees. Yung angle na yan, 19.3 degrees. And that angle, of course, is this angle. Huh? The resultant make with yan yung ating 19.3 degrees. The resultant makes with a normal force. Hindi pala yan. Sorry. Ito yun. Ito. Yan. This is 19.3 degrees. While the angle which the normal force makes with the incline is this one. Yun yung ating 8 degrees. And therefore, what is important here is to get that corresponding angle of the resultant with respect to the vertical, which is of course equal to 19.3 plus 8 degrees, or that is equal to 27.3 degrees. Yeah. Ito naman wala ng problema kasi horizontal ang surface, yung kanyang kanyang angle of R3 with respect to the normal force is equal to the angle of friction. So as you can see, in this particular FBD of the wedge, there are three unknowns. There are three unknowns. The force P, the one being required, the resultant reaction R3, and the resultant reaction R1. Therefore, we cannot solve any of these three unknowns if there are more than unknowns compared to the number of equations of equilibrium for a concurrent force system. Take note, when a body is subjected to only T forces, this is actually a concurrent force system in equilibrium. And the maximum number of unknowns that we can have is 2. And since there are 3, if you want to solve for P, you cannot start your problem solution here. Again, for the purpose of kung saan ba dapat natin makita yung ating start of solution. No? So here, we have identified that we cannot solve the problem right away using the FBD of the wedge. So we have to solve either R1 or R2. And obviously, R1 will be the one we need to solve because that R1 will be acting under block B. No? So we need to draw the free body diagram here of block B. So yung ating block B, doon natin makikita si R1. No? So we simply draw here yung ating block para makita natin nasan ba dyan si R1. So again, in this particular block, there is a point of contact at this point and at this point. So to draw the free body diagram of the block, of course, nandyan yung ating weight of the block, which is given, the weight of the block B, given as 400 pounds. Yeah. Now, again, drawing our horizontal and vertical axis. Ito yung ating vertical. Of course, our normal force will always be a force normal here. Now, when you again insert the wedge to the right, of course, the relative motion of block B relative to wedge A is, it will be, anong motion niya? Anong motion ito? Pagka ito ay in-insert natin, the motion of the block vertically is going up. Na? If we insert the wedge A into the block to the left, of course, the direction of the horizontally, the direction of the block B is moving to the right. Yun ang relative motion na we are referring to. No? When the wedge A is inserted, it moves to the right. It moves to the left, so that the relative motion of block B, itong ating block B, is to the right. Ito yung motion. Take note. This arrow is representing the motion, relative motion. Ito naman yung relative motion going up. Kasi we want to identify, because again, this motion will identify the direction of the frictional resistance. Yung ating frictional resistance, of course, is opposite to the motion. Kaya ito, when siya papunta dito, yung ating frictional resistance. Ito naman, going up yung motion, papunta dito yung ating frictional resistance. Na? These are frictional resistance. Na? F. In this case, this is yung ating F1. Ito naman yung ating F2. Ito yung ating N2. Ito yung ating N1. But again, we are not after with the frictional force and the normal force. We have to convert that into equivalent. Kanina sa ating drawing, ito yung pula. Gawin natin pula din. Yan. Yan ang ating R1. Yan. Kasi kailangan mo ng R1 na yan. Kaya dito sa FBD ng black, doon mo susolve yung R1. While this one, ito naman yung ating ito yung ating R2. Yan. Now, again, ito yung dapat nating makita. Na mula dito hanggang dito sa normal, that is 8 degrees. That is equal to the incline of the surface. While mula dito hanggang dito, ito naman yung angle of friction, which is yung ating P na 19.3 degrees. Meaning, ang kailangan natin makuha dito is dito. The total angle which R1 makes with the parang ito din yun, yung 27.3 dito. Of course, hindi naman parehas dapat siya, That is equal to 19.3 plus 8 equal to 27.3 degrees. Okay? Then, ito naman, since it is vertical na siya, horizontal, ito naman equal na dun sa 19.3 degrees. So, after that, makita mo yan, we have to draw the first triangle, Draw mo yung first triangle, starting with, of course, start mo yan, pag drawing mo, start mo yung weight, Lagyan yung given. Usually, vertical ang ating inuunang i-drawing, Tapos, yung R1, ipapaganyan na lang. Baguhin natin yung weight. Huwag natin gawin pula kasi nagdadalawa. Halimbawa, itong weight ay sabihin natin ng green. Yan. Yan yung 400 pounds. Tapos, ito-drawing mo dito yung R1. Yan. Yan yung R1 mo. Then, ito yung iyo. Yan. That's how we construct the force triangle. We draw it in a tip-to-tail manner. Now, you draw now here yung ating vertical and horizontal axis. Importante yan. May drawing natin doon sa point of intersection. Makita natin dito. Yan. Yan. Kasi kailangan nating ma-solve or makuha itong angle na to. We need to identify what are these values of angle. Yan. Inside the triangle. So this is, of course, the weight equal to 400 pounds. And this is yung ating gusto ma-solve na R1. Again, hindi na natin kailangan intindihin po yung R2 kasi it will not be used in your solution. Take note in your FBD, we want to solve this one, yung R1 natin. Para makapunta tayo dun sa P, which is used to raise the block. Yan. Now, pag nakuha mo yung angle yan, sabihin natin na ito ay angle say alpha, angle beta, angle theta. Obviously, solve for, the solution is we want to solve for R1, using sine law, And to do it, we have, using sine law, we have R1 over sine beta is equal to the given force 400 over sine theta. Yeah. So, in the process, we need to solve for angle beta. And how do we solve angle beta? Medyo magulo to. Hindi natin mapawi ito. Yung, wala naman. Medyo naguluhan lang tayo. Kasi dapat ito ay hindi ito. Yan. Ito naman ay nandito. Yan. Ito naman ay ito naman ay nandito. Yeah. That's our first triangle. Okay? So, kailangan mo solve dito yung angle beta. How do we solve that angle beta? Yung angle na yan. No? So, itong ating angle na to, based on our FBD dito, the angle which are to mix with the yung angle which mix with the horizontal. Yan, yung horizontal na yun. You have to take note that this angle, ito yung 19.3 degrees. Therefore, from that figure, we can see that beta is equal to 90 plus 19.3 degrees, which is equal to 109.3 degrees. So, actually, you don't need the value of alpha. You only need these two values of the angles, beta and theta. So, yun naman theta, alin ba ang ating theta? Between our theta, this is our theta. So, as you can see from the figure, our theta, this one, is equal to 90 minus 19 degrees, 19.3 degrees minus the angle, itong angle na to, this angle here. This angle here is the angle which, nandito yan, nandito yan, ito yung angle na yan. The angle which R1 mixed with the vertical. Okay? Then that is equal to, this is equal to 27.3 degrees. And therefore, 90 minus 19.3 minus 27.3 degrees is equal to angle theta, which is equal to 43.4 degrees. So upon determining these angles, you can see the problem is solved for R1. For R1. R1 will be equal to, of course, is equal to 400 times sine of beta of 109.3 over sine of 43.4 degrees. R1 is solved already, equal to 549 pounds. Yeah. So we only solve for R1 because we need it here. We need it here in this FBD. So once you already solve R1 equal to 549 pounds, the only unknowns in this case is, of course, R3 and P. But you are not after R3. You are after P. So you have to draw, again, the force triangle using this, the FBD. So yung FBD mo naman niya is you start with the horizontal force. Yan. Ito naman yung ating force triangle. Starting with horizontal force P. Yan ang ating horizontal force P na hinahanap. Yan. Now, going back here in this one, no? So yung R3 with respect to vertical is 19.3. So let us draw. You draw vertical line. No? You draw vertical line here. Say horizontal and vertical. Like that. You draw horizontal, vertical lines. That so that we can connect to P, our R3. Our R3 in this case is ito. It's making 19.3 degrees with respect to vertical. So if you draw it here, something like that. What's our color here? Color is green. Green. Okay. So this one is our R3, and this is our R1, which we solved here. It makes an angle of 27 degrees with respect to vertical. So you draw it like this naman, which is ano ba yun? What's the color of that? Oh, red also. Anyway, like that. It's okay to be red also. Yeah. You draw horizontal and vertical lines at the intersection of the forces. Yeah, so that we can see. In this case, this time, let's call this angles, no? Yeah. So alpha, beta, say, what other angles do we know? Say we have here, again, what the angles that we need are actually this one, they call delta, and we call it gamma. Yeah? Delta, gamma, ano pa, angle, say lambda. Yeah. So again, we are now on the process of solving. Of course, this is our previously solved R1. This is our previously solved R1. This is R3. So we need these angles, not the angles opposite the sides of the triangle we want to solve. No? So that again, by using sine law, we need to solve for R1 and we need to solve for P. So that will be P over sine gamma is equal to R1 previously solved value over sine delta. So again, from our figure, we want to solve for angle gamma and delta. So from the figure, of course, from our figure, this is actually equal to this angle here, angle here, angle here, angle here. These are the angles that the R1 is 27.3. Okay, so that is 27.3. While this one is the angles with 19.3. So that obviously from the figure, we can have gamma is equal to 27.3 degrees plus 19.3 degrees. Okay? Which is equal to 46.6 degrees. We need that angle. Next, angle delta. What is the angle delta? Angle delta, as you can see here, is obviously this angle is 19.3. So angle delta is 90 degrees minus 19.3 is equal to 70.7 degrees. Okay? So after solving for these angles, then we right away solve our required force. Now P is equal to R1, which is 549 sine of gamma 46.6 divided by sine of delta 70.7. So we have the value of P required. This is now what we'll be requiring. This is what we are requiring to raise na equal to 423 pounds. Na? This is what we are requiring. Na? Okay? That is part A when we want to raise the block. Can you follow? So what will happen if we want to lower the block for part B? Lower the block. So meaning, syempre, after we insert the block, no? Insert the wedge, the block has raised, we have raised the block. No? Therefore, in order to lower it, you have to pull. No? You have to pull. This time, our uh, what we need is to pull the block. No? So, our action of force P here now is when we want to lower it, you have to pull it in that direction. Yeah? Now, when we pull this wedge, the wedge will lose contact at this point. Instead, it will be contacting. Block B will be in contact with this point and will lose contact with this point. Also, of course, we still have the contact at this point of our block and the wedge. Now, so that again, when we draw the FBD, we draw the FBD of the wedge again. Our FBD will be like this naman. Huh? When we draw the FBD of the wedge, this. Like that now. We have now the force P acting on wedge A, which is you want to pull it. Huh? This is our P. Then, of course, if this is our direction of P, the direction of motion of the block is, in this case, motion. Then, of course, our normal force still here. Still, our normal force under wedge is here, normal. Then the frictional resistance will be opposite to the motion. That is our F. And therefore, our resultant here will be like this. Yeah. Yeah. So this will be, say we call it R3, you know, R3. Okay. Then on the inclined plane of the wedge, sorry, yeah, then the normal force will be this one. Motion, what will be our direction of the force? Friction resistance, this one. Yeah. So that our okay. So this will be our R1. Okay. This will be our this will be our, yeah. See, this is our R1. While this is vertical line. Now, this is our, again, this is our N1, this is our F1, F3, and 3. Huh? So with respect to the vertical, medyo exaggerated, ano? Oh, sorry. So this, oops. This one is this our, with respect to vertical, this is our 8 degrees. That is the inclination of the incline. Huh? This is 8 degrees. While from the normal to this side will be our angle of 19.3, the angle of friction. While in this case, ito naman yun. This is 19.3 degrees. Again, what we want to, of course, solve is yung angle that the R1 with respect to vertical that is equal to 19.3 minus 8, or that is 11.3 degrees. That's what we'll be using in drawing the force triangle. Again, we can see here that there are 1, 2, 3 unknowns in this FBD. And therefore, we cannot yet solve the value of P considering this pre-body diagram. So again, you go back to the FBD of the block, na? The FBD of the block, wherein we want to lower the block. So drawing again our block, na? The FBD of the block. I hope you can bear with me, na? This is a lengthy explanation just for you to understand. Na? Oops, what happened? We have the block again. Like this. Na? Take note, we are on the process of lowering. That's why our point of contact will be at this point. Ano? There will be point of contact here, and there will be a point of contact here. Like one. In normal force, again, we want to draw the normal force and the frictional resistance. Normal force. While this one is the normal force, perpendicular. That's the normal force. Now, when you lower by pulling the wedge A, you will be lowering. Again, you take note that the relative motion of the block, this is block B. The relative motion of the block B is, it will go down. No? So ito yung motion niya. It will go down. It will go down. Relative motion. So when it is going down, then the frictional resistance will be, of course, opposite to that. That's why this will be going up. The frictional resistance here going up. While this one, when we are pulling the wedge A to the left, no, the relative motion of B will be going to the, when you pull the wedge A to the right, the relative motion of B will be going to the left. So this one is the motion of, in terms of horizontal motion. That's the motion of the B relative to A. Because A is going to the right, B will be relatively going to the left. And if that's the motion, again, take note, these are motion or tendency to move. Kasi we want to see the direction of the frictional resistance because that will dictate the direction of your resultant force. In this case, this will be your, this is your R2, while this is your R1. Yeah. This is your R1. And don't forget, of course, the weight. Kalimutan nyo yung sa FBD, yung weight, which is 400 pounds. Okay? So again, in this FBD, there are three unknowns, R1 and R2. But we only want, of course, to know what is the value of R1 because that is what we want to transfer to this FPD to solve for P. Okay? So, again, this is 19.3 as the angle of friction, while this is 8 degrees. Therefore, again, the angle that R1 makes with the vertical is 11.3 degrees. While this one is equal to 19.3 degrees. So after knowing this, we have to draw the course triangle, starting with the vertical, yung ating 400 pounds. Yeah. Then R1 with respect to vertical will be 11 point, like that. No? 11 point, like this. Yeah? Then our R2 will be this one. In a tip-to-tail manner, we draw it, the first triangle. No? This is our R2. Well, this is our R1, and that's 400 pounds as well. The other one. So, dito natin ilagay ito. 400 pounds. Yeah, that's our first triangle. Then, we need to know again the corresponding angles inside the first triangle. Say again, this will be your kailangan mong angle ay ito. No? At saka, opposite to this is ito. Kailangan mo malamang angle. Sa ito. No? Say again, sabihin lang natin na ito ay alpha, beta, theta. Of course, no? Ano bang gusto natin ma-solve? R1, ano? R1. So, ang R1, para ma-solve, so we solve for R1 by sine law. That is R1 over sine alpha equals 400 over sine beta. But what is alpha? Huh? So if you draw the again the crosshair or axis of so you have to draw the axis para you can see the resulting values of the angles at a particular point. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yung beta, obviously, take note, this angle here is equal to 19.3 degrees. That is opposite to that angle, therefore beta is equal to, how much is beta? Beta is equal to we need the value of beta. That will be 90 minus 90 plus 19.3 minus 11.3. That's the value of that angle. Ano? 90 minus is that correct? That angle beta is equal to 90 plus 19.3 minus 11.3. Yes, that's the angle. That beta is equal to opposite 400 is 98. That is 98 degrees. 98 degrees. Again, kailangan natin is alpha. Alpha naman, alpha, how do you get that value of alpha? That is equal to 90 minus 19.3. That's the value of alpha equal to 70.7 degrees. So, substituting it now to our sine function or sine ratio, R1 is equal to 400. Sine of alpha is 70.7 divided by sine beta is 98. And therefore, we can solve here R1 equal to 381 pounds. Yeah. Okay. Then, after getting R1, we can now proceed with this FPD. You know? In this FPD, we draw the force triangle. This is your force speed. You want to solve it. No? Want to solve that force speed. Then, parang kulang ito natin. Then R1. So how do we draw again? We draw the horizontal and vertical lines. Yeah. So your the R1 will be this one. Yeah. This is red, like that, while the other one is blue. This. That's our force triangle. Huh? This is our P. We want to solve this. Huh? While this is already solved, R1 from this solution, 381 pounds. This is 381. Then we need to again determine the angles inside the triangle. We want to use, say, yung kanina nating angle. So sabihin natin na this is angle theta. This is angle, say angle lambda. And this is angle delta. So, to solve now for P, how do we solve? Of course, by sine law, P over sine theta is equal to 381 over sine lambda. So again, how do we solve for lambda? And how do we solve for theta? So we know already this one, this angle. This angle is the angle 19.3 degrees. While this angle, we know this as the one 11.3 degrees. 11.3 degrees. Therefore, theta in this case is equal to the sum 11.3 plus 19.3. Okay? That is equal to 30.6. That is the angle theta we need. Then, the angle lambda. How do we solve for angle lambda? Opposite to that. This one, lambda is equal to, of course, lambda is equal to 90 minus 19.3 degrees. Lambda equals 70.7. Yeah. Okay? So ito yung mga angles na kailangan natin in our solution. No? 30.6 and 70.7. So upon simplifying this, we can have the value of P, which is needed to lower the block. No? So in this case, P is equal to 206 pounds. Yeah. 206 pounds. If we compare it with the other value of P, which used to raise the block, 423. So it makes sense naman. No? Of course, it is more difficult to insert, no? More difficult to insert the wedge under a very heavy load compared to pull it in order to lower that load. So 423 obviously makes sense that it will be higher than the value P required to lower the block. So that's how we solve problems involving wedges, you know? Involving wedges. Now, so the key solution to this type of problem on wedges is, of course, drawing the correct free-body diagram, understanding the motion, the relative motion of a body. In this case, relative motion na ang ating pinag-uusapan. When we deal with the wedge, that is the actual motion of the wedge. But when we deal with the block, we are seeing the relative motion. That is motion in relation or with respect to the other moving part with each the wedge. So next in our discussion is the last part is the belt friction. No? Belt friction. This is another application of Coulomb's drive friction, which is the friction between the belt or a rope in order for us to either application niya is in engineering is power transmission or transmitting a torque from an engine to each wheel. Kaya application ito will be on more on belt drives and brake drums, or even you want to when you want to dock a ship. No? In this case, it's not just clear in the figure, but the figure above is a sailor. No? A sailor holding slack type. No? Slack side. No? When you say slack side, that is the not tightened side of the belt. Of course, when we discuss ropes or belts across a pulley, of course, when we neglect friction of the pulley or the tension on one side is equal to the tension on the other side. But if we consider friction between the rope and the pulley, for example, the surface of contact of the pulley and the rope, we need when we consider the friction, the tension on one side is not anymore equal to the tension on the other side. We have the slack side, no? And the taut side of the rope. Taut being that one is with the larger tension, and slack side will be the one with the smaller tension. No? If we apply it in the belt drives, so the tension on the belts in this case are not the same because of the belt friction. Also, when we apply it to band brakes, the belt or on the one side of the band is not equal to the tension on the other side. And the difference between that tensions is related by this formula. No? So this is how this formula is derived using integration, no? And applying conditions of equilibrium, integrating both sides to their limits. Then we have this relationship of the belt tensions, T2 being the larger tension and T1 being the smaller tension, related by the angle of wrap. No? In this particular formula, T1 and T2 are the belt tensions. T1 opposes the direction of motion or impending motion because uh, when we have a pulley, for example, T1 and T2, so if this is T1 and this is T2, the motion will be in the direction of the larger tension. Therefore, T1 is the one, so the motion will be in that direction because it is being pulled by the larger tension. And therefore, T1 will be the tension opposing the direction of motion or impending motion measured relative to the surface. Okay? Kaya dito makita natin that yung ating frictional resistance ay going here. No? Because that is the direction of motion is going here. Kaya yung ating frictional resistance in the derivation will be going to the opposite direction of the motion. The motion is towards the tension of the larger tension T2. Now, there, again, the relationship between T2 and T1 is related by this quantity, which is, of course, derived from this expression, getting the natural logarithm of both sides. No? Wherein, in this particular formula, beta is what we call as the surface angle of the belt, angle of belt to surface contact. No? Angle of belt to surface contact, or we call it the angle of wrap. Take note, this must be measured in radians. No? When you say radians, if you are given, of course, with angle, say, in degrees, no? Usually the angle of wrap can be given in degrees. So before you use that to this formula, you have to convert that angle beta into radians, by converting it using pi equals 180 degrees. That's the converting factor. No? When we want to convert degree to radians. And since the T2 is not a function of the diameter of the, say, in this case, diameter or the radius of the drum, meaning the surface it's not necessarily be a circular surface. No? When we deal with a surface of contact, it can be any form or any surface, not specifically circular surface. Although in actual application, in band brakes, usually pag band brakes, circular yan. When we have bollards, yung bollards kasi, yun yung ganyan sa mga ginagamit sa mga ports, no? Sa ship, docking of ship. Okay? Yeah. So, ibig sabihin, as a result, the equation is valid for flat belts passing over any curved contacting surface. Okay? Let's have a sample problem for this particular discussion. Huh? So, a hawser, a thick docking rope. So, if you happen to pass by a seaport, say in Batangas Pier or in Lucena, Yesterday, I've been to Marinduque. I see large ropes there, no? Used for docking ships. So we call it a hawser, no? A thick docking rope. So that is not a small rope, no? These are big ropes used to dock a ship in a pier. It is being wrapped on a bollard, no? A bollard is a device, no? In the shipyard wherein this docking rope is being rounded on this bollard in order to produce a in order to fix the ship while on the dockyard. So this tension here of 7,500 represents the tension which can be uh, exerted by the ship upon its movement, because the ship is docked, of course, not on a dry dock, but in the port, it is usually docked on a sea. It's still on the sea, while while the ship is commonly moved by the waves. It produces tension, to the cable connected to the ship, which is the bigger the ship, the greater is the tension. Imagine this tension provided by the ship is being held only by a small tension on the other end, and that is possible only if we make use of the principle of belt friction. Commonly, these ropes are wounded uh, several turns. So usually these are circular bollard, no? And the rope being rounded here several turns. Now imagine that. So the more number of turns, the greater is the force that can be resisted by a small force uh, provided on the other end. So in this particular problem, the rope is wrapped around the bollard two full turns, two full turns. That's the given two full turns. So the tension in the hawser is 7,500 Newton. By exerting a force 150 Newton, meaning by exerting 150 Newton, the tension that can be supported by this 150 Newton, imagine, is magnified to 7,500. Imagine if this is a smooth contact between the rope and the bollard. 150 Newton can only resist 150 Newton on the other end if this is smooth. But considering the application of the belt friction and wrapping around now the bollard, which is having a coefficient of static friction of, what's that? Yung pala, that's the one being asked, the coefficient of static friction. Imagine that, it can resist 7,500 Newton. So with that case, determine the coefficient of friction between the hawser and the bollard. So, applying the belt friction formula, if you want to solve for letter A, we want to solve the coefficient of static friction. And where can we find that quantity? We look on this formula. Yeah, we look at that formula. ln of T2 over T1, you can see there. You have ln of T2 over T1 is equal to what? E raised times mu times beta. US times beta. Wherein, given na yung T2 is the larger tension equal to 7,500 Newton, while T1 is the smaller tension, 150 Newton. In this case, what is the angle beta? What is the angle of wrap? The angle of wrap is the number of turns. No? The rope is wound around the bollard, which is beta in degrees is equal to 2 times 360 degrees because there are two full turns, na? Which is yung ating 360 degrees, that is equal to 2 pi radians. And therefore, beta is equal to 2 times 2 pi, that is equal to 4 pi radians. Na? That is equivalent to 4 pi radians. Okay? Which is equal to, now, what is the value now of mu s? Of course, this is equal to 4 pi radians equal to 12.57 in decimals. Then, of course, if we have here ln of ln of 7,500 Newton over 150 Newton is equal to coefficient of static friction times 4 pi or 12.57. Okay? So this is ln of 75 over 150 is equal to ln of 50 equals 3.91. And therefore, our mu s is equal to 0.311. That's our being as here, the coefficient of static friction, wherein the houser or the duct worker can just keep the houser from slipping. Meaning, this statement here implies impending motion, no? Impending slipping. Impending slipping yan. Impending motion. Just keep the houser from slipping. Now for part B, for our part B, what's being asked is tension T2. No? T2 is being asked. That is T2 if the angle of wrap beta becomes or change from 2 to 3. So this time becomes 3 times 360 degrees, or that is equal to 3 times 2 pi. The value of our beta is 18.85, meaning 18.85 radians. This time, the same T1 is 150. Question is, what will be the amount of tension that can be resisted? No? So again, from our relationship, T2 is equal to T1 times e raised to mu s beta. Of course, our mu s to be used here is yung previously solved coefficient of static friction under impending motion. So, yung ating T2, we can solve as 150 times e raised to mu s 0.311. Beta is 18.85. And this is our tension that can be resisted by this number of turns. That is equal to 52.7 kilonewton. So that is from, take note, that is equal to 52,700 Newton as compared to the previous. When we have 2 turns only, the tension that can be resisted is only 7,500. Now, adding just 1 turn around the bollard, how many times na yung kanyang naging tension that can be resisted. 52,700 divided 7.5. Imagine that. Very enormous tension that can be resisted by just applying a small force on the other end of the rope. That's why the concept of belt tension or belt friction is very uh, useful, in positioning. Now, imagine you are in the port. You are positioning large container vans there. So, siyempre, nowadays, we have the new devices or equipment for positioning heavy loads or container vans in the ship by using cranes or by using somehow using magnet pa tayo. You can see that, na? Yung malapad na we have a circular magnet steel, used to move container vans. Now, in the absence of that, previously, early days, we make use of this concept of belt friction, combination of bollard and a pulley. So this next problem illustrates the application again. We have a uniform slender bar having a mass of 9 kilograms, supported by the cord at A and the pin at O. Determine the range of mass M, na? Determine the range of mass M over which the system is in static equilibrium. The coefficient of static friction between the cord and the upper curved surface. Na? Kasi these are the surfaces that will be in contact or that will be the one to be resisting the motion, sliding motion of the rope and this curve or body. While between the block and the incline, there is another coefficient of friction here. We neglect friction on the hinge so that there will be two mutually perpendicular components of the reaction there. Okay? So, meaning, in this problem, we are looking for the range, no? Because the mass M should have a minimum value and a maximum value before motion occur. So, the minimum value is sufficient to hold, to hold the bar from falling. Meaning, when we look for the minimum value, the direction of the motion will be towards the direction of the falling bar when we have the minimum. While when we have a maximum value, before motion niya na maximum, the direction of the motion will be towards the direction of the mass or the block. So, meaning that is within the range that M should be less than a value, say certain value. But para bang M should be less than or equal to this value to maintain equilibrium. Or can we say M dahil ba yun should be less than this value, but should be greater than this value. Yeah, it could be the range. That is the range of the mass. Should be greater than, and less than para to maintain equilibrium. No? So for this problem, the value of smaller m, so merong value natin na mass dito, should be, the mass should be 6.6 degrees, 6.16 kilograms. M greater or equal to 6.6 kilograms. Now, it is must be less than or equal to 28.3 kilograms. That will be the answer to this problem. So how to do it? Of course, solving for the minimum or the smaller value of the mass, somehow this becomes our T1, and of course, this will be our T2 because the direction of the motion will be along or going to the direction of the still bar. So on the other way around, if we want the mass to be going in this direction, that will be the value. Wherein this becomes our T2 and on the this will be our T1 when the direction is going towards the block. So in each case, you have to draw the free body diagram. How do we draw the free body diagram of the bar? The free body diagram of the bar. Of course, we have the tension. The tension here. Then we have the horizontal and vertical components. Say this is our OX, OY. And the corresponding weight of the bar, which is a slender bar. So we can find it at the center. That is the 9 kilograms times 9.81. So the value of your tension, say tension here, TA, depends. So TA is equal to T2 when the direction is this one. When the direction of motion is towards the bar. So direction of motion is towards the bar. Yeah. But your TA becomes your T1 when the direction is towards the block. Yeah. Of course, you have to draw the FBD of the block. Say, this is our FBD of the block. We have the weight of the block or yung ating S, M times G. So, when the direction is towards the bar, of course, there will be tension here. When the direction is towards the bar, the tension in the block will be your T1. Of course, when the motion is towards the bar, the direction of motion is going there. and therefore our frictional resistance is, normal one, and your frictional resistance will be this one. Then you solve. As you can see here, there will be one, two, three, four uh, unknowns, no? Or this can be written as your normal, and this will be your coefficient of static friction times normal. So there are, if you count the number of unknowns, one, two, three. So we cannot solve. Therefore, we still have to solve T1. So relating T1 and TA, which is T2, by belt friction. No? Wherein the angle of wrap is equal to the sum of these angles, 40 and 30. That will be our angle of wrap, 70 degrees. Now, you have to convert that to radians. So, no? That is, magbabaliktad lang ito pagka when the motion is towards the block. Kasi when motion becomes towards the block, no, the direction of motion now becomes going punta sa block. So, that will happen only if your T1 now will be your larger tension. This will become your T2, and the other one will become your T1. Then you compare and relate it again with T2 over T1 is equal to, or that relationship is T2 is equal to T1 e raised to mu times beta, where your beta is 70 degrees. Okay? You take note that there is a different value of mu for belt tension and the surface here. There is 0.4 in the incline. Us equal to 0.4 here, while dito mu is equal to 0.2. Okay? That's how we solve this problem. No? So perhaps this will end our discussion on friction, so that by next meeting, we'll be proceeding with actually last two important topics. Maybe we'll be combining it now. That is involving centroids, yeah? Centroids of common geometric shape, and how to determine centroids when we combine the shape as a composite figure. Similarly, there is a application on determining moment of inertia of common geometric shape, as well as the moment of inertia when we combine this. These are very important topics in mechanics, and I don't want to end our course without, of course, discussing it to you, kasi that will be very important when specifically these are section properties. Section properties are very important when you are discussing design courses, design courses about reinforced concrete design or structural steel design. Okay, so that will end our discussion on friction. I hope you are able to comprehend. Now, perhaps I'll be again providing additional problems to work on involving these topics on friction on belt and wedges. Okay, so it's lunchtime. Thank you for your attendance, and class dismissed.